Good day and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing, I think, my absolute favorite thing in the world. I'm going to be reading Reddit and making the, oh, I forgot, I always forget. BRB. Am I the asshole? Judge Burke presiding. Grab your beverage of choice. Today I have a soda stream. I'm trying to save dollars. So we have the soda stream instead of like bubblies. All right, no, don't like that. All right, yes, let's do it. Do you like my new outfit? So cute. All right, we are going to be opening up Reddit. Here we are. How are you? How are you guys today? I'm having a lovely day. Oh, you can't really see my on-air thing. Can you see it? Maybe there's stuff behind it, so you probably can't even read it very well. Am I the asshole? Okay, I'm literally just gonna go with the first one, and if it sucks, it sucks. Am I the asshole for telling a pregnant woman to sit on the ground instead of giving her my seat? That sounds like you're the asshole, but let's put on some lip gloss first. This is the Clean Fresh CoverGirl Yummy Gloss. Super viral right now. I absolutely love that. I know those jars. Just a little jars. Okay. My nephews both graduated from high school this morning, and I wanted to sit up front, so I camped out a bit before in front of the entrance. I brought my folding camping chair and my headphones to listen to my show. I wonder which show they listen to. Obviously, it's like a podcast. I wonder if it's like a murder podcast or what you're listening to. I'm dying to know. About 40 minutes before the school would let us inside, a pregnant woman got next to me. Since somebody let her in line, I assume her partner, she asked me within 5 minutes if she could have my chair, as she was going to have trouble standing the whole time. I said, no, sorry, I need it more. I have bad feet and bad knees, and I went back to doing my thing. She asked me again within 2 minutes, and the answer was the same. She, however, got a little mad at me and said that she was going to be struggling the whole time and asked her partner to tell me. He asked me himself politely, and I again responded that sorry, but I need it more, and I suggested that you could wait in your car or just sit on the ground. At this point, the husband directly called me an asshole, but then they left me alone. Interesting. So I think this is one of those types of things where it's like you're not an asshole, but you could have been nice. Like, how bad are your knees? It doesn't say ages here, but it's nephews. So if your nephew is graduating from high school, your nephew's 18, say your sister or brother, whose ever kid this is a couple of years older or younger than you. So you're probably around, if they started having kids at around 20, say, to be, conservative, this person is probably 40 to 50. So, I mean, it depends on how bad your feet or knees are. I would personally be like, let's switch off. If it was that bad, I'd be like, I understand that you're pregnant, but this is my chair. I was here first. I also have, mobility issues, and you don't need to make me feel bad because you don't have a chair. So I say not the asshole, but let's see what everyone else says. Oh, the first thing it says is be civil, don't be mean. Okay, the top comment is, if there was a plan B, she wouldn't have been pregnant in the first place. That's funny. That's super funny. Okay. Not the asshole. You refused to give up the chair you brought because you needed it due to your own health conditions. I do feel for the woman, but she and her partner should have brought their own chairs and not assumed that they were entitled to yours. Very true. Like, what would have happened had OP not had a chair? If she needed a chair that bad, why didn't they bother the staff? Interesting. This was kind of a boring one, so let's find a more spicy one, shall we? Okay, I'm going into the r/am I the asshole, and let's find one that looks more interesting. Let's go with this one. Am I the asshole for not checking in on my brother's surrogate when I went on a bachelorette party in Cancun? I saw the word bachelorette and I was like, yes, let's do that one. All things wedding I want, because I think that's fun. Very excited to marry Ian one day. We are not going to get engaged anytime soon, I don't think. We were talking about it the other day, and he's like saved up like a certain amount of money, a good huge chunk of money. And I was like, you could take that good huge chunk of money and buy an engagement ring. And he was like, I need more money than my good chunk of money to do what I plan to do for our engagement. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll wait. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry your pretty little head. I'll wait. But I'm excited to. I mean, growing up, I always was like, I'm only ever going to get married once. I'd been proposed to before, and like marriage was such an ideal in my mind, and my parents are divorced, and I was just like, I'm only going to get married once, and it's going to be perfect. So like, I had an amazing wedding. I did most of the work. I paid for most of it. We had an awesome time, and it didn't work out. It blew up in my pretty little face. And for a little while, I was really resentful about that and mad at marriage, and I was like, I'm never gonna get married again because this happened to me. But finding Ian has totally changed my mind and my heart, and I am very excited to marry him one day. Yay! Moving on. Okay, so one of my best friends is having her bachelorette party in Cancun, and this is my first time outside of Niagara Falls ever leaving the country, and I'm super excited to go. This is Canadian. Welcome, fellow Canadian. I told my family this, and my older brother is like, oh yeah, could you please check in on our surrogate? She's in Cancun. When I first heard it, I was like, sure, but then I found out that his surrogate is a 2-hour drive from Cancun and doesn't live in the safest neighborhood, and I would need to get a driver. Also, the bachelorette party has a full itinerary, and I'm only there for 3.5 days. Why the hell are you going to Cancun for 3.5 days? Like, if you're going to go to Cancun, get at least a week's all-inclusive. At least. Like, that's crazy. I don't understand that at all. At all. If you're flying all the way down there, stay there for a week. I told my brother that I wouldn't be able to make it, and he freaked out at me. It's like, and is like, you don't care about family. What happens if Mary, the fake name for the surrogate, her house is filthy, and your future niece is born sickly? Well, maybe you should have picked your surrogate better than some poor woman in freaking Mexico who's gonna have a sick kid. What are you talking about? Sorry, that was all me. Going back. And your future niece is born sickly. He starts going on about how it's not even a big deal and starts saying, what's more important, having fun with friends or family? Having fun with friends or family. To me, it really rubbed me the wrong way. For one, if he cares so much, he can fly down there right now. His partner's much older and really wealthy, and they go on vacation every couple of months. They just came back from Portugal. Like, they could have gone to check in on their surrogate. And FWIW, I don't know what that means. And FWIW, they already have her sharing her location. Okay, let's see what FWIW means. Google. FWIW. It means for what it's worth. Gosh, I know so little. For what it's worth. Okay, getting back in. They already have her sharing her location and have her send a picture of each meal she eats. Oh my God, I would not want to be a surrogate. I'd be like, look at this meal of macaroni and cheese I have. And they'll be like, could you eat a vegetable? And I'll be like, absolutely not. Just kidding, I eat vegetables all the time. I had a salad today. But I mean, I want to be able to eat whatever I'm eating, right? And they even got her a Fitbit. Like, they're tracking her so much. Me not checking in on her house is not going to change anything. I know I initially said yes, but to me, I feel like they're being really unfair here. Okay, interesting. One, she is going back on something that she said, so don't make commitments you can't do. But I totally understand. You're there for 3.5 days. You don't have much time. It's a 2-hour drive. So it's like 2 hours there, 2 hours back. And it's in a sketchy place. Like, why is your surrogate in a sketchy place in Mexico to begin with? If you're wealthy and you can afford not having your surrogate in a sketchy place in Mexico, like, why would you send your sister there? I say you're not the asshole. I'm always British when I do that. I have a New York accent coming up for a role. So, New York coffee. Not the asshole. You're not the asshole at all. Okay, let's see what the comments have to say about this. Not the asshole, but am I the only one who feels weird about Americans using a surrogate in Mexico? No, I actually feel really weird about that. I feel that's weird. Yeah, and them being so incredibly creepy about it. I know that there's possibility exists that surrogacy is actually good, but such a large part of it is just buying women's bodies. I disagree. I really think that surrogacy is a good thing. I think that I would be a surrogate 100%. Okay, I'm shaking that. I would be a surrogate 100% to like my brother or my sister or so, like someone I love. I would definitely be a surrogate for. But there's so many poor people out there. Like if a woman can make really good money, off of carrying someone else's child and she's okay with it, cool, you do you. I don't understand how anyone would be okay with sex work and then not be okay with this. I think this is like more morally good than sex work, you know. Not saying that, you know, sex work should be criminalized or anything, because girl's got to get her money, honey. Let's see if there's any more interesting comments. I don't actually like how Reddit is, like one person will have a comment and then it'll like go down and down and down where someone's commenting on their comment. It's like, I want to see all the comments. I don't want to just see that comment. Paid surrogacy isn't legal in Canada. Oh, people still manage to make money from it though, as expenses are covered. Interesting. I didn't know that. Really? That surprises me. It's the same in the US. Technically, it's illegal to pay them to be a surrogate, but couples can pay for their medical bills and the comfort of the surrogate. That's not true. Some states explicitly allow compensation for the time, expenses, and insurance. Ooh, 2 new comments. Let's see what these 2 new comments are. Not the asshole. That is not safe for you at all. True. Not the asshole. Completely inappropriate to ask that of you on your trip. Why did he not vet the situation himself before proceeding? Also, many of these women end up carrying multiples to ensure that they get pregnant. Guess what happens to the extra babies? They're literally sold to the highest bidder? What? It's horrific. These women are hardly paid anything and they do it because they're desperate. It's exploiting women and children. And your brother's a bad human for participating. Well, calm down, Peanut Gallery. We do not know. I'm sure there are definitely surrogates that are in this sketchy situation that they don't want to be in. They have to be in for whatever reason. And it's not a good situation. But to assume that this person comes from Mexico, so automatically that they're going to carry multiple babies and the extra babies are sold to the highest bidder is a huge leap. So let's not make that leap right now. Anywho, not the asshole. Perfect. On to the next one. I love doing this. I find it so fun. I like listening to it too. Like if I like the kind of podcasts I listen to are like true crime, motivation, learning, and am I the asshole? Okay, let's see. I briefly read this one and it seems so stupid that I have to read it. Am I the asshole for going on a tea strike? Tea like TEA, like the drink. This is so funny. This is so stupid, he writes. Yeah, it looks stupid, so I'm invested. This is so stupid. My girlfriend thinks I'm an asshole, so I want a second opinion. We're both quite serious tea drinkers. I'm a serious tea drinker. I take my tea drinking seriously. Although I can't make fun, I'm a serious coffee drinker. Serious. Being from the UK, it's funny, my boyfriend's from the UK. He rarely drinks tea. Rarely. He'll have green tea occasionally. And maybe like once every 6 months he'll have a cup of like Earl Grey. And then he's so funny. He's like, when he has Earl Grey, he's like reminisces about being an English tea drinker and what his mom drinks and stuff. It's quite adorable, actually. At least 3 cups a day each. I have mine with 1 spoon of sugar. She has no sugar. I usually have 6 or 7 cups of tea on a good day. I thought that 3 was a safe estimation of what I have on a bad day. I wonder what kind of tea they drink. My guess is Earl Grey or orange pekoe. That's my guess. Or English breakfast. We've been dating for a year now. In the first month of dating, things were great. She made my tea properly, and then she slowly started to forget and made us both cups with no sugar. I gently reminded her that I like it with 1 sugar, but she wouldn't remember, and she kept making me non-sweet tea. So I just decided to make both of our teas going forward throughout the day to save hassle. However, lately I've been tired of having to make all this tea, and I ask her if she could make me a cup once in a while. I don't think it's fair that I make her nice teas and she can't return the favor. Agreed. Today, she made me tea with no sugar once again, and I got fed up and I asked her why she doesn't add sugar to mine. And it feels deliberate, to which she told me that she forgets, and that's just how she does it, and I can add my own sugar after. So I said that wasn't the point. And moving forward, until she can make my tea nicely and take my taste into account, I will no longer be making her tea. I remember her little dietary quirks, and it just feels off that she won't remember this for me. She says it's stupid of me to go on strike about making her tea, and I'm weaponizing it, and it takes 2 minutes. However, I'm tired of making her perfect tea while she doesn't even put any effort into mine. Am I the asshole? ETA. ETA? Edit? ET. What? Why does it say ETA? ETA means estimated time of arrival. Why is this person putting it here? It's as like an edit. I'm proposing that she makes her tea and I make mine, and she's angry with that also. What are your thoughts? Immediately, my thought is that the girlfriend isn't forgetting. She's not putting sugar in his tea for one of 2 reasons. 1, she doesn't think he should be having 7 spoonfuls of sugar a day, which he shouldn't, because that's not healthy. 2, she doesn't want to make the tea, and she's using weaponized incompetence to be dumb, and so that he makes the tea. I think that's one of 2 things that is going on. I do not think she will forget. You have this thing, at least most humans do, maybe she's a robot, that this would be a perfect robot outfit. Making tea, can't forget sugar. That I'm ridiculous. Most people have this thing where if they're doing something and you've had a discussion with someone about that thing, while you're doing something, it'll remind you of the discussion. So let's just make a random observation. When I'm cleaning up the house and my boyfriend says, babe, don't put my eye mask that we use to sleep, we both have an eye mask, in your makeup drawer. I don't want makeup on it. So next time I'm cleaning up and I look at the eye mask, I immediately think, when I'm putting my eye mask into the makeup drawer, because I don't give a fuck, I look at his and I go, right, he told me not to put it in the makeup drawer. Like, I can imagine forgetting it like once, like sure, once, and then someone reminds you and you have that conversation again. But more than once, when they're constantly like, I have my tea this way, I have my tea this way, I have my tea this way. Can you imagine someone having that bad of a memory? Because I can't. Like, I have a bad memory long term, but if someone was constantly telling me, don't do it this way, don't do it this way, don't do it this, I would remember. And I find it really hard to believe that she keeps on forgetting. I think she is using weaponized incompetence or trying to get him to not have so much sugar, which, I mean, I think weaponized incompetence is probably the main reason, because if it was the sugar thing, maybe she would just tell him, like, hey, like, I'm gonna put in like a half a teaspoon of sugar because you should not be having that much sugar a day. Someone wrote, people are going to get you with the it's just sugar, but I get your point. It's the effort. You take the time to remember what she likes and do that if you're making for both of you and she doesn't return the favor. It feels lopsided to you, hence the question. You're not the asshole. Someone comments on that. Exactly. They've been dating for a year now. It's not like some complicated Starbucks order. It's a spoon of sugar. Someone else comments, right? For years and years, I took my coffee with milk and sugar. My husband drinks it black. He never once brought me black coffee. In 2021, I switched to black coffee after 20 years of cream and sugar. If anyone thinks I could never drink black coffee, well, that's what I thought too. And he was understandably confused and slow to catch on, but he got there eventually, and in a few weeks, he was right on target again. Totally. I find it really, I want to see if someone like thinks what I do, like it's weaponized incompetence. Someone wrote, it's not just that. She's upset at the suggestion that they make their own tea going forward. In my opinion, it is deliberate that she's doing this because she just doesn't want to make her own tea. Someone wrote, yeah, the weaponizing comment is rich coming from her since that's exactly what she's doing. Weaponized incompetence. Not the asshole, not the asshole. Jeez Louise. I wish there were updates. I feel like I've said that before. Oh, OP commented on this. Someone's like, or maybe it's a passive-aggressive way of him to having less sugar. And he wrote, we eat pretty healthily. I don't think it's an excessive sugar intake thing. I want to see if he commented anymore. OP says, I just don't want to waste tea bags. She would have to remake hers. Someone wrote, Canadian here. I would absolutely start purposefully making her tea with 1 sugar for the sake of maybe now you'll understand why I'm frustrated. Okay, we have voted this person not the asshole. We are going to move along. I do want to look at this OP and see what else they've said. Okay, does he have any other posts? Nope, that's it. That is it. Okay. Ooh, after I'm going to read a Bridezilla thing. Hells to the yes. Okay, this one says the word wedding, so we're going to go into that one. Am I the asshole because we do not want to invite the partner to the best man to our wedding? I'm assuming because we don't want to invite the partner of the best man to our wedding. If that's the case, yes, you are the asshole. Unless, like, that partner was an asshole themselves. Okay, my fiance, female 31, and I, male 30, want to get married this year. We both don't like traditional weddings and don't like being the center of attention. We want to get married primarily for us because we love each other, not for other people. If we had to have a traditional wedding with lots of people, we would probably rather not get married. Therefore, we've decided that each of us will invite only one person, the best man and the maid of honor. For my fiance, this is Maria, and for me, it's Frederick. Kim is a good friend of the bride, is also coming because she'll take pictures, and we both know her well. So in total, there will be 5 people: the bride, the groom, the best man, the maid of honor, and the photographer. And that's it. Now, Frederick's partner, Roger, complains that he's not invited. There was a fight between him and my best man, Frederick, because of that. Roger says that he will not go to the wedding, to which Frederick is not invited. Sorry. What? Okay, so the best man is named Frederick. Roger says that he would not go to a wedding. There we go. Kicked in, Laura. To which Frederick is not invited, and he expects the same from his partner. However, we definitely don't want any other people there and have put a lot of thought into choosing these 3 people. Not even our families are invited, after all. I told Roger that we're not willing to change our plans and invite him. Am I the asshole? Absolutely not. What is with these people who think that they automatically need to be invited to weddings? There are 5 people at this wedding. 5. 5. And you think you should be invited just because you're married to one of them? Unless you're married to the bride or groom, which therefore why would you have a wedding? So that's a moot point. But that reminds me of Joey and Friends. It's like a cow. Its point is moot. Its opinion doesn't matter. You are definitely not the asshole. Not the asshole. Because, I don't even need to explain because. You guys know, this is such entitled behavior of anyone to be like, well, you shouldn't be going. You shouldn't be going because I wasn't invited. How awful would that be for the rest of eternity if you were stuck with a partner who was like, you shouldn't be going because I'm not invited. Do you know how many places I've gone that I haven't invited in? Like, because, sorry, like, it's this person's birthday and you're not invited because you don't know them. You've never met them. So automatically you're just invited? No. Gosh, the entitlement. Okay, let's see what other people have to say. Not the asshole. If you were having a normal wedding, it would be rude to not invite his partner, but this is obviously an exception. He's being ridiculous. Yes. I agree. Someone else wrote, not the asshole. Good grief. You have one guest and witness each and someone who is taking the pictures. This isn't a big event for other guests. Roger is picturing a traditional wedding. Frederick needs to point out that he's serving more as a witness. Roger is not more important than your family, who are also not invited to your very intimate ceremony. But the thing is that I think he explained that to him. Did he not explain that to him? I feel like he explained that. This isn't a wedding, it's an elopement. Regular rules don't apply, not the asshole. Couples don't have to do everything together. Find a new best man. I disagree. Don't find a new best man. It is not Frederick's fault. It is his partner's fault. And also, it has to get to a point to, like, who cares what Roger thinks? Like, obviously, Frederick's your person and Frederick's your best man, and it would suck if your best friend's partner didn't like you. That would suck a lot. I remember I was nervous because my boyfriend's best friend is a woman. And I was so nervous to, like, meet her and be friends with her, because if she didn't like me, that could have been, like, a huge, like, deal breaker. It could have been a huge deal breaker. It could have been scary. It could have been difficult. I mean, we get along, so that's great. But at the same time, you're not the asshole, so you have to be like, this is my boundary. I'm having literally three people there. One to take pictures, one to be my witness, one to be her witness, and that's it. I don't understand what the problem is. God, people are so, it makes me a little mad. Anywho, obviously, not the asshole. Moving right along. Oh, for a second, I was worried that we weren't filming, and I would have been pissed. All right, this one also says wedding, so I guess we're on a little wedding kick here. Very excited. I don't know why. I'm obsessed, guys. Would I be the asshole for not forking out $10,000 to attend a family wedding? Absolutely not. If anyone expects you to spend $10,000 to go to their wedding, they're stupid. And I say that with love. They're stupid. My whole wedding cost like $12,000 or something like that. Okay, moving on to the story. My partner's sister got engaged. There's no wedding date yet, thankfully, which gives us time to decide what we want to do. We live on a different continent, and right now I'm attending the wedding would cost $10,000 plus on flights, car, food, etc., not including the wedding gift and assuming we can stay with family. We personally are not excited to go because of the high cost. We only started to save for our house down payment, and we're looking to have a baby next year. We don't have much savings right now. When my partner was speaking to his mom, she said he simply had to start saving for it. Fair enough from her perspective, but for us it's a huge amount of money. It is a huge amount of money. And we will not have a wedding ourselves because we can't afford it. Wow. Can we simply say that we can't afford and not to go, or am I the asshole? Okay, there's an update, so I'm going to say my opinion first and then we'll go into the update. You are not the asshole. I think that, first of all, where the hell do you live and do these people live that it would cost you $10,000? Like, when I flew to Thailand, it cost like $1,000 round trip, right? And when I flew to, where else have I been around the world? England. It cost like $1,000 round trip. Even when I flew first class from London to Canada when COVID hit and they were closing the borders and I had to get home because COVID had just hit and everything was getting shut down. I was in London and it was like fucking apocalypse now, baby. And I had to like immediately make a flight, like reservation. It cost $3,000 for first class. So I don't know where they live that it would cost that much, because that's just bad. That looks like seriously bad planning. Say there's two of them. They have no kids right now. They said they want to have a baby next year. And say it costs $4,000, right? What are you spending $6,000 on? Say you go for a week for a wedding and you stay with family. Food? People are going to feed you. If you're staying, like, you're not going to have to eat out. Buy groceries. Budget. Like, I don't understand how the frack you think you're going to spend $10,000? That aside, budgeting aside, because I'm really good at budgeting and like cheaper vacations, okay, say that you would have to spend $10,000, then you can't afford it. It's okay to be like, I'm so sorry, I can't afford it. Like, I'm so sorry, but we want to have a baby next year and I can't afford it. I'm so sorry, but we're saving for... You don't even need to give them a reason. We can't afford it is a good enough reason. We can't afford it is a good enough reason. No is, as Mary Kate and Ashley and Elizabeth Olsen say, no is a complete sentence. No. Sorry. And that's a lot to ask from someone. And I think, like, emotions run high with weddings, but there's got to be someone who understands that within the family. There's got to be someone who looks at the situation and goes, yeah, that's a huge amount of money to spend on a wedding. We totally understand. I'm so, like, lazy days here. I have, like, my foot up here. I'm, like, leaning back. I wonder if it's going to look stupid. Okay. Let's read the update. Since some people are calling me a liar and started demanding I tell them where I live because I'm clearly lying about the flights, please read my post again. I said $10K for everything, which will include flights. I don't need to itemize this trip for people to believe me. The calculation is correct. No, it's not business class, and it's not a destination wedding. We'd be going back to our country, so we definitely would need to stay at least 10 days. Catch up with family and friends, and bring gifts, too. It would be expected. Even if it was $5K, which it's not, it's still a lot of money for us. Please don't get hung up on the $10K, just so you can call me a liar. Well, I mean, I guess other people were saying it, but that's definitely what I was thinking about. I wonder what it is. Okay, so they're saying that gifts would be expected back to their country, and they would have to stay for 10 days. So if it's a wedding, my guess is like India, because they have like multiple days, like multiple weddings on different times. And if like gifts are expected and stuff, and it's really expensive. I've been to at least the New Delhi airport, and that flight wasn't overly expensive, I don't think. Anywho, we're gonna trust them. And then, no, you're not the asshole. Absolutely not. Not the asshole. Your financial life comes first. Someone says, a huge not the asshole. Sorry, we can't even remotely afford this. We will not be attending. I'm worried the response we'll get would be, but she's your sister. This is OP. Would she pay the $10K to have you attend? The OP says, certainly a question we can ask. Someone else says, I think if she were willing to pay, she would have offered immediately. Don't be bullied into spending money that you cannot afford. A sister who loves you would be disappointed, but understand. Indeed, when we married across the globe, we and my parents paid for her and her 2 kids' passports, tickets, and stay because we wanted them there, and she just couldn't afford it. OP says, that's extremely generous of you, and I would do the same if I could afford it. However, his family just seems to have the attitude of suck it up and save for it. Interesting. Well, not the asshole. Someone said, no, hard no. One does not suck up 10K. So funny. Yeah, it's way too much money. Someone wrote, honestly, this is the only way to go about it. Like, we cannot afford it, but we'll attend if it's paid for. Oh, someone wrote, I married into an Indian family and the weddings are expensive and PTO, probably personal time off, consuming on their own. A cousin is getting married in Vietnam. The fiance is Vietnamese. And I said there's no way that we could go from a financial and work perspective. Cool, done. A month later, my mother-in-law said we were going and she was paying. So now I'm going to Vietnam. That's cool. That's fun. Yeah. If people care so much, they should pay, you know? When you get there, for me, say real loud, good morning, Vietnam! Someone wrote, her being your sister doesn't make your wallet fuller with money. That's funny. All right, good. We've got that. We know this person is not the asshole, and we are going to find something else to judge. All right. Am I the asshole for asking my 25 male girlfriend, 29 female, oh, she's 4 years older than him, interesting, to make my plate of food differently than she was serving to others. So I recently became official with the lady I've been dating for 6 months. Wow, imagine dating someone for 6 months and not being official. When Ian and I first started dating, we had our first date lasted 16 hours, 13 hours, something like that. And after that, Ooh, this is a hard story if this person listens to this. I doubt they will, though. Should I tell this story? Alright, I'm gonna tell this story, guys. You freaking convinced me. Oh, gosh, you're so good. Okay, so I was casually dating someone else when I met Ian. And the minute I saw Ian, I was like, that's the guy for me. That's the guy for... I can't explain it any other way. Like, I immediately knew that he was for me. And so we knew each other for a month. We were acting partners over Zoom, and we spoke for a couple hours every week on Zoom, and I was just like, I fell in love with him. Like, I was so freaking in love with him. It was ridiculous. And I asked him out, and thank God we had like a day off from our acting class the week after we were partners, which hardly ever happens. It happens like 2 or 3 times a year. And it was just, oh, the clouds parted, the sun shone down on us to have our first date. And he drove from Cultus Lake here for dinner. And our first date lasted a very long time. And as soon as he left, I was like, there is no one else. I want to be with this person and only this person, and that's it. To the point where I called up this other guy and who I had been casually dating for like 6 months, and I told him that I met someone else and I couldn't date him. And he was planning on flying from his hometown to visit me a week or 2 later. And I was like, cancel your flight. Cancel your flight. This guy. I'm so sorry. And he was mad. And then Ian and I have been together ever since. The second or third date, we made it official. Like, we talked about, no, maybe it wasn't. It was really soon though. It was like really soon after our first date that we, like within the month at least, that we were boyfriend and girlfriend. So to date someone for 6 months without being official is like mind-boggling to me. I would if I liked someone enough to date them for 6 months, I would, after like within the first month, be like, so you're my boyfriend, right? That's what's going on here. Anywho, tangent aside, let's start over. So I recently became official with the lady I've been dating for 6 months. Lucky lady. We decided to have the first barbecue of the nice summer weather in our area at her place. We don't live together currently. I would recommend that. 6 months is real quick, especially if you've just made it official. She decided to make steaks and baked potatoes, and I made some side salads and was responsible for the drinks and the chips. As my girlfriend got cooking, it just panned out that she ended up plating and serving to people the steaks after they finished resting. When I went over to watch her plating, I noticed that she'd put butter and herbs and stuff all over the steak. My family doesn't do this, and I've never seen it done this way, so I asked her, politely, if she would put mine aside, and I would do my own fixings. I just want my steak with ketchup. I'm pretty plain. Ketchup with your steak? Ketchup? My boyfriend is English and puts ketchup on everything. Everything, including pizza. So it really grinds my gears. Anywho, both she, her sister, and her dad gave me a very pointed look. Later that evening, she said that she felt that I was rude to the chef, her in this instant, to ask for my food separately, and that she wished that I would have just trusted her to make me a nice plate of food, and that I shouldn't do that when I'm a guest anywhere. I fairly commonly politely ask for my food to be made differently and more plain when I'm a guest somewhere or at a restaurant, because I generally prefer plain food. I didn't think this was rude. Am I the asshole for asking my own food to be served differently outside of my own home? I don't think so. I work at a restaurant. I've worked at a restaurant for a really long time. Many restaurants. Oh, my boyfriend. What? Babe, do you want to come over and have pizza? Okay, I gotta put a pause on this to answer my boyfriend back. And I'll be right back. And we're back. That was just my boyfriend wanting to know if I wanted to come over to where he is for pizza. But I'm in the middle of this, so we're gonna keep going. Okay, so this pizza thing. I don't think he's the asshole. I think that if he really likes things plain and she cares about him, then let him not have herbs and butter and stuff. Like, if your partner really didn't like my boyfriend doesn't like beans, lentils, anything. I love all that kind of stuff. He doesn't like hummus, right? Like, and I don't cook with it. I'm not going to make something he doesn't like. I'm not going to make something specific that he doesn't like. I was saying, I work at a restaurant. Do you really think that it would, like, there's a very specific small number of places that are like, we will not do any substitutions. No substitutions, no changing anything. And that's really like hoity-toity. Like, the chef must have a giant ego for that to really go down, right? But I work at a super fancy restaurant, and people have allergies. People don't like stuff. People go to a restaurant to enjoy food. This is about enjoying food, you know? Your boyfriend isn't going to enjoy this food if, you know, it's not made to his liking. He was polite about it. You know, I don't get it. Which is funny because Reddit dubbed this person the asshole. I don't think he's an asshole. Let's see why they say that. I say, not the asshole. Let's see what Reddit has to say. I'm getting fucking hot and bothered. Not in that way. You're the asshole for putting ketchup on a steak. That doesn't count. This person's being funny, right? See, the fact that he's being, like, said an asshole just because he put ketchup on a steak. Do I like ketchup on a steak? Absolutely not. But if someone else wants to do it, like, do whatever you want, bro. Everyone's like, it's so rude to do what he did. I disagree. For him to be like, hey, like, I see that you're putting, like, butter and herbs on steak. Do you mind just not doing that to mine? I like mine with ketchup. I can understand immediately being like, you're wrong. It tastes better with butter and herbs. I get that. I've said that to people, like, don't put ketchup on steak. But am I going to force them? Funny story, because I definitely did force my sister-in-law, Jamie. It was her birthday. We took her to this really fancy steak restaurant, and her steak was $75. And she was like, can I get ketchup for my steak? And I was like, absolutely not. You're going to try this steak first. And if you still want ketchup, you can get it. I said, do not get ketchup with your steak. So we forced her to try her steak without ketchup. But I think adding things on that someone, like, if I was to be like, you have to put gravy on this steak, you have to eat it, is different than being like, try it without ketchup first. And if you want ketchup after, go for it. He just asked for it not to have butter and herbs on it. Someone wrote, it's also rude to a guest for the family to be giving each other pointed looks. That's snobby behavior. People like what they like. That's all. Why hurt someone else's feelings over a non-issue? Not the asshole. It's not a special accommodation to prepare something in a way that requires less effort. He didn't ask for it to be cooked any differently. Asking someone to not put compound butter on their steak is hardly a special accommodation and absolutely no extra work. Putting the compound butter on is the extra work. The ketchup part's a little weird, but so is bottled steak sauce. So who are you to judge? I agree. I'm not a steak sauce girl myself. I just like a regular steak. Maybe béarnaise sauce. Oh, yeah. I could do gravy. Like an au jus, not like a gravy. Someone's like, why do people have to be such snobs about this? Yeah, screw that guy for having a preference about eating steak cooked on a fucking grill. I wouldn't give two shits about how people want to eat my food as long as they enjoy it. It's like if you serve someone coffee black because that's how you prefer it, and then you think that it's a crime that they add milk to it. I agree. Ooh, someone said OP later mentions in the comments that he's on the autism spectrum. That impacts his relationship to food. That's so true. If he is actually autistic too, like, that could be seriously uncomfortable for him to not eat his food the way that he likes it. And I mean, like, not even taking into account the fact that he's autistic, don't tell anyone how to eat their food. So funny. This literal conversation with Jamie is coming into mind. Sorry, Jamie, for not letting you eat your food with ketchup. But it was a $75 steak that I was paying for. So many people are like, are you the food police? People can eat their food how they want. And yet he was awarded, he's the asshole. And yet all these people are like, He's not the asshole. He's not the asshole. Someone wrote, "You're not the asshole, but you should have tried it. Please." And it's a 25-year-old adult man. Expand your palate. I promise things taste better with seasoning and not just ketchup. Please. I'm going to say this once. Leave adults alone about their food preferences. I have 50 years of frustration about being looked down on for being a picky eater when the taste of certain foods are just downright unpleasant to me. And yes, I've tried it. I promised I've tried almost everything multiple times, and it still tastes like shit. I could not be more passionate about what I am saying. People get to have their own preferences, and as long as they don't expect others to go out of their way to accommodate them, they're fine. And no, I'm not asking his girlfriend to put seasoning on it. I'm asking her, it is not asking her to go out of the way. That didn't grammatically make sense. Cool. Well, even though Reddit dubbed this person an asshole, obviously the comments are like, he's not the asshole. That was a good one. Yay. Okay, we're going to do one more. One more time. So when I do auditions, I do that every time. I go, one more time. Music's got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna do, am I the asshole for expecting my sister-in-law to pay for her meals? This is a short one. Oh no, it was deleted. It was deleted. That's sad. It was removed by the moderator. Do you know what? Let's go back to the Bridezillas. And when I mean back, I mean first. Ooh, this is the Bridezilla Reddit, and then this one is an Am I the Asshole within the Bridezilla Reddit. Perfect! We've hit all marks. Okay, am I the asshole for telling one of my brothers that he should come to our brother's wedding? That sounds weird. That sounds like so normal, but it's probably not. Let's take a look. One of my brothers decided to have his wedding abroad. The flight time is less than 4 hours, and my brother, who I'll call Henry, has given everyone lots of notice so that they can plan to come along if they want. One of our brothers, who I'll call Edward, told Henry that he won't be coming. Edward is gay. Okay, and in the country where Henry is going to get married, it is illegal to be gay? Oh, God. Also, the resort doesn't allow gay or lesbian couples to book a room together. What the Edward says he won't go to a country where being gay is illegal. Yeah, no doubt. And would be uncomfortable staying at a resort that doesn't allow gay or lesbian couples. Yeah, no doubt. Henry and his fiancée are doing all the wedding things. Ceremony, reception, abroad at the resort, so they aren't having anything here. Edward says that they don't want a reception or anything here is his plan to buy them. Sorry, we're going back here. Henry and his fiancée are doing all the wedding things. Ceremony and reception abroad at the resort, so they aren't having anything here. Edward says since they don't want a reception or anything here, his plan is to buy them the nicest, most expensive thing in their registry to make up for not going. I tried to talk to Edward about it because I knew that Henry was upset when Edward said he wasn't coming along. I pointed out that Edward is single, so he won't be affected by not bringing a +1, and tourists, especially when they stay in a resort like we all are, don't usually have trouble with the laws the same way locals do. And in any cases in the news are minor. It's a very safe country for tourists. Edward in turn told me it's none of my business and asked why I'm interfering. Was I out of line? Because Edward is angry at me at the moment. All of our brothers and sisters and family are going except Edward. I know Henry was hurt, so I brought it up to Edward. That was the only reason. Henry was upset, and this was a once-in-a-lifetime day for him. Was I the one who was out of line for trying to talk to Edward and convince him to come along? Since I know what will be asked, the wedding is in Morocco. Okay, we're gonna quickly do some freaking Morocco. Morocco gay laws. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people in Morocco face legal challenges not experienced by non-LGBT residents. Both male and female same-sex sexual activity is illegal in Morocco. Moroccans of the LGBT community face many hardships in the country if they have limited rights. There's no law against discrimination or harassment. The penalty is up to 5 years in prison with hard label and fines. Okay. So immediately, no. No, no, no. If I was gay, well, I'm bisexual, but I mean, I'm in a heterosexual relationship, so I would go. But, like, if there was a small chance that your brother could be imprisoned for up to 5 years, one, have your wedding somewhere else if you care that much. Two, don't try to convince someone to, like, you would never forgive yourself. If I tried to convince someone to do something and then they did it and they ended up in jail for 5 years, or even like got beaten up or something, like say you're out at a bar and like you're flirting with some guy or whatever and someone sees like gay activity and you get the shit kicked out of you, I would never forgive myself ever for that. I understand why OP would be like, hey, it's our brother's wedding, like it'll probably be fine, but like no, absolutely not. So I say the groom sucks for having the wedding in Morocco. That's dumb. Like, if you care enough to have your brother there, don't go somewhere where he could go to jail for just being who he is. And then OP sucks because same reason. Like, he shouldn't be trying to convince his brother to go into a place where he's going to be like harassed for who he is. Okay, so yeah, you're the asshole. First, you're the asshole of this one. Asshole. Okay. Let's see what Roger has to say. So, tourists don't usually have trouble the same way locals do. Well, that's okay then. As long as you think there's only a small chance your brother will go to jail, it's worth it to attend. I think OP's missing the point. Why would Henry choose to have his wedding in a country that wants to punish his brother? And then, surprise, be shocked that the brother doesn't want to attend. Yes. Yes. Ugh. I pointed out that Edward is single. Oh, well, that's okay then. He can come to the wedding. He's just not allowed to bring a date. Man, how many Bridezilla stories alone, in addition to others, have my single ex found a date between getting the invite and now? Okay. Buying the most expensive thing on the registry to make up for it is extremely generous. Like, way more than I would be. Planning a wedding in that country is a slap in the face. Expecting Edward to show up is a punch in the face. And OP needs to shut up and stay the hell out of it. Yeah. Someone wrote, and of course in the comments, OP is saying that the country is super left-wing friendly to gay people, as if the right-wing fuckery isn't on the rise worldwide, as if aggression towards marginalized people isn't worse everywhere. But nope, not magical am I the asshole stan. It's downright utopia there, folks. First of all, left wing and right wing are very I hate when it gets political like that. Like, all right wing people don't think being gay is a sin and want to fucking judge people. Like, all left wing people aren't like super comfortable with gay people, you know? Like, I think that's what gets people so divisive, is like making these huge blanket statements like that. I think it's really important to not, like, unless someone has flat out said something about being gay or homophobic, like, you can't judge. Like, you can't, and people shouldn't be saying homophobic things, right? Like, anywho. Oh, interesting. Someone wrote, I'm not trying to start an argument or be jumped on, but I'm an American who lives in Morocco for 5 years, and while homosexuality is generally frowned upon, and yes, can technically get you arrested, it isn't in any way enforced. All of the laws only apply to Moroccans, and they treat Americans with serious care, because Moroccans deeply value their relationship with the US and definitely wouldn't start an incident over anything. The thing about they don't allow same-sex couples to rent rooms together is not true. Again, unless you're vehemently telling everyone that you're a couple. But they do allow unmarried male-female duos to rent, but only if one of them is Moroccan. Interesting. They don't allow unmarried male-female duos to rent, but only if one of them's Moroccan. So it's not just the gay thing. It's like living in sin or whatever. Interesting. None of this is the defense of the policy, which I hate. I've had many conversations with a lot of people over the years, and lots of people, including the younger generation, are far more open and receptive, and I hope to see change soon. However, for a country that has trouble deciding what it is and isn't, it can get really complicated. Interesting to know. Doesn't really change my answer because they didn't have that information to begin with. Anyhow, that's it, guys. I filmed for a very long time. I always love doing this. Thank you so very much for joining me again. I hope you made it all the way through. If you did, please leave a comment below. I need more people commenting on my stuff. More interaction. Just a like. Just a little like button. Anywho, take care. Be well. See you next time. Bye!